Welcome into a Sunday Night Pop Blender Unfiltered. Hello, hello, hello. It's been a little while since we've had a private chat, so to speak. So I got a lot of overhead, don't I? Well, I got a ton of overhead here. We're gonna work with it. I got a lot of overhead. I guess I was feeling like showing off some bullshit behind me. Maybe, maybe not. Whatever. Welcome in, welcome all, and anybody that pops in, pops out, watches other streams, always welcome. And tonight we're gonna get into some Spider-Man, some Spooder-Man. We're gonna get into a little bit of why this movie is so successful, and I want to get into the shared experience. And maybe why that went away. I kind of looked up a couple things. Maybe you'll find it interesting. I found it a little bit interesting with a couple articles. And also, it's always fun to get the AI viewpoint of what AI will give you, right? What its source is, what it tells you. So I brought up a couple things. We'll show them here in a little bit, but I wanted to get into Spider-Man. Welcome in for you guys. And actually, I am going to, let's see. There's the button. Let's just put the comments right on the stage. What do you say? I did want to say hello. Frank Duminy is going to catch the replay. Don't mind that at all, actually, and don't blame you one bit. Clint Jorgensen, what's up, buddy? Still haven't seen Spider-Man yet. Deciding if I should just listen to spoilers. And as I replied, this isn't going to be spoiler heavy. I'm not going to go through the movie and go through scene by scene and all that stuff. Matthew and I did a pretty decent job of that last Tuesday night. And so this is just going to be an overview and looking at the success of it, and then also kind of talking about that, bringing that into the shared experience and what that means. Some of the things I heard at the theater. So some of you that have gone, maybe you overheard some of these same comments. Maybe you had some of these conversations yourself, standing in line at the concessions. I know I heard a few things, and from people a lot younger than I am, which was kind of surprising. Eric Thurman on the West Coast. What's up, brother? Shane, Same Time Toys down in Florida, hanging out. What's up, buddy? And HK Viper is here. And like I said, anybody else that feels like dropping in, dropping out, or sticking around for the long haul. We'll see how long we go tonight. House of the Dragon, final episode of this season is tonight. I can't wait to watch it and then dig into a review on Nerdrotic's channel. If you guys have been watching that show, I highly recommend watching that review show afterwards. It's a lot of fun, and they have some people who have a lot of knowledge on it. And Nerdrotic Gary is always a fun listen to, and he has some great guests. Without further ado, I would be remiss if I didn't introduce my best friend and buddy, Otis McDonald, and the band Cruisin' Baby. That's right, Otis. Come on, bring the heat. Bring the heat, Otis. Come on. All right. Otis McDonald and the band. Bring it on down one time. All right, let's keep you guys in the background. Anyway, all right, and off we go. Let's get into it, my friends, right away. Let's take a look at the numbers. Holy shit. Spider-Man. Brand new day. Past $1 billion. $1 billion at the international box office. Surprisingly, it hasn't crossed that threshold or is lagging behind in the United States. Man, I got to tell you, I'm shocked. As many people as I've talked to, that you might have talked to, I am absolutely shocked that this movie has not done better, which this is great, has not done better at the box office here in the States. It's crazy to me. Of course, we don't count Hawaii or Alaska, as they are pseudo-states, more of vacation places. But anyway, international box office is crushing it. It is a telling sign that Spider-Man, as Matthew mentioned last Tuesday on the Evening Blend, is 100% the undisputed king of superheroes, period. Love me some Batman. Okay? Like me some Superman. Spider-Man is the most recognizable and hands down the number one. We saw what Spider-Man did, and lest anyone forget, Giraffe likes to bring the attention that someone here loved Superman. I didn't love Superman. I liked it. I thought it was fun. However, what happens, as what I did with Spider-Man when I left this movie, is I thought about it. I thought about it some more. And I thought about the fact that I actually did not enjoy this film the way that I thought I would. And that has ruffled some feathers while I've been at work talking about it. That has made some people question, can't you turn your brain off and enjoy something for 2 hours and 25 minutes? No, I can't. I'd love to have that ability, but I can't. Here's Johnny. Love the avatar, by the way, Mother Slug. Beautiful. I can't turn my brain off. I can't sit for 3 hours during the Odyssey and not think about all of the things I'm seeing on the screen. I have compared it to going to see bands live. I played drums for years. Stanley, how the heck are you, buddy? Packing up the arena backpack. I'm assuming you either are going to or leaving a concert or getting ready for one the next day or two. I compare it to listen to a band. I played drums for a long time. It's really impossible for me to go listen to a band and not critique the drummer and not think about how would I play this song. Now, I'm not talking about the biggest bands in the world, right? Because those are the songs that I emulated. Those are the songs that I copied. Those are the drummers that I listened to, yada, yada, yada. However, going to see a band that is just a cover band or some other, tribute, whatever it is, I think about how would I play this music? How would I play these songs? And so I can't help it. I wish I could. I can't help it. It is what it is. And because of that, when I go see movies and TV shows, I can say this. I can say this with all honesty. This used to not be the case. It used to not be the case before I started really trying to dive into pop culture. I've always been a nerd. I've always been somebody who's been interested in comics and TV shows and animation. Anime on the peripheral, right? I grew up on some Robotech back in the day, like we probably all did. But for the most part, I've always loved movies and TV shows, like we all have. And comics and even toys to an extent. So it's always been in the periphery or it's always been in the forefront. However, I've never been one to comment or really talk about it in the way that I do now. And part of that reason is, yes, being influenced and watching people that you like to watch on YouTube, liking certain streams, or you start watching certain creators and you start going, man, that's how I feel. That's what I think about. But those are people that are able to express themselves better than you can. Maybe they have a degree in writing. Maybe they are a writer. Maybe there are somebody who's made independent films. Maybe there's somebody who's reviewed films for 35 years or longer. My point being is that we all have influences, and sometimes those things spark something within you that makes you want to throw your hat in the ring and kind of do it. And that's, for me, what happened with YouTube was watching Nerdrotic, watching Critical Drinker, watching Mauler, watching Film Threat and Chris Gore, watching other channels that do something similar at a far larger scale than I could ever dream of in reality, who have been grinding away for years, have become very successful. Yes, you're going to be influenced by those people, and I have as well. And because of that, I felt like, damn, man, I see a lot of this stuff, I do see it. It sometimes takes someone to point it out to you. It doesn't mean those people I watch don't enjoy stuff. They might get credited, they might get blamed for people hate watching stuff, hate watching shows they loved or grew up watching, movies. and kind of go back and have a critical eye. And I can understand that. I can see why people would feel that way. But unfortunately, within the last 15 years, we have been, excuse me, excuse me, inundated, taken over by factions of people who want to come into your club and then destroy your club. We've seen it with our very eyes. It's undeniable. We can't pretend like this hasn't happened. The one thing about nerd culture for many years, and a lot of you guys may agree with this, is that you almost felt like you were alone in a way. Like you had a couple friends that were interested. You had a couple friends that were into what you were into. But for the most part, like if you went to work, you didn't talk about G.I. Joe. You didn't talk about Transformers. You didn't talk about action figures or collecting toys. You didn't talk about, animation, right? I love the DC animated stuff, right? Love that animated universe. I love watching those movies and stuff. Batman, the animated series. But like you didn't talk about that with other regular, normal people, so to speak. And now it's pretty commonplace that people do, all right? Especially after the Marvel phase. And so my point is that it's more acceptable now, and therefore you feel like you can talk about this stuff with other people. But also at the same time, there's been a lot of people that have come in that weren't gate kept, so to speak. And I know people hate that, but I think it's important to understand, right? Bringing new fans in is a great thing, and it expands the love of something. However, in the last several years, there has been a very concerted effort to take over the things we love. Mother Slug says, I stopped watching Neurotic and Drinker because they're fake hypocrites. I've seen it time after time reviews. Movie talk is the easiest brand to do because it will always be around, never stop. Yeah, I disagree with that. There are people I watch because I watch a breadth of content. There are people I watch who say the same thing. However, I have a hard time seeing it. Are there times I disagree with their take? Like, for instance, Nerdrotic really liked this new Spider-Man film. I did not. I think Drinker is not as warm on it. There are other people in that sphere that participate on the Friday Night Tights live stream every Friday. And a lot of them really loved it. And the one person who just brought the house down was Mauler. Because he went off on it. Did a great 40-minute review of the film, by the way, called An Unbridled Rage, Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's on Mauler's channel, Mauler. I recommend it highly. My point being is that, yeah, I get it. Like, I think people start watching somebody and then they have one or two or a few different takes that maybe they're like, no, how can you're abandoning us, you're how could you like this when everybody hates it, right? And I think everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and I think it's okay to go against the grain if you really like something. I liked Masters of the Universe. I thought it was a fun film. A lot of people I've talked to, normies, didn't like it. I've talked to a lot of people that did like it. I've talked to nerds who liked it, talked to nerds who hated it, right? So I think it's okay, and I think it's all right to change your opinion. I think it's okay to watch something and walk out of the theater liking it, and then 2 days later go back and start thinking about it and go, you know what? Actually, no, I do have a lot of problems with that film. Brings me back around to Spider-Man. When I left the theater with my son, I liked the film to an extent, but I knew immediately there were fundamental problems with the movie. There were fundamental problems with the script. There were fundamental problems with the choices that were made in the thematics and the villain. And it really changed my mind. Absolutely changed my mind. And, Matthew accused me, and I made it known when we talked about it on Tuesday during the evening blend. I made it known. I did watch a 5+ hour review, scene by scene, of the movie before I went to see it. And he said, hey, if you're going to watch that by Mahler, then it's going to skew your opinion and it's going to change your mind. And you're going to go into the film without an open mind. That's not true. Because not only did I not sit there through 5 complete hours, I bounced in, bounced out, watched 30 minutes at a time, had it playing in the background while I'm doing something. But also, some of the things they talked about, I disagreed with. So it's okay to do that. It's okay to go back and be critical and have a critical eye and look at things that you thought you liked, that you can change your mind on that. That is okay. I don't think you have to stand by one solid thing, one principle all the time, to an extent. Especially when we're talking about pop culture, especially when we're talking about movies and TV and other things. So that brings me to with Spooder-Man. As we can see, this movie is doing fantastically, amazingly, okay? And I'll be honest with you, I get it. Because what has happened is what happens every now and then with cultural phenomenon. Word of mouth. Things blow up. And even if it's something that's not that great, it can become so big in the zeitgeist that it's unstoppable. Do I think the last Spider-Man film was better than this one? Absolutely. Was it a cheap ploy by bringing in Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield? Sure, you could say that. But it worked within the constraints of the movie. And I just felt like the stakes and the emotional baggage of the film was far greater than this one. I have my issues with this film. I think it should have been Peter Parker without AI, without an assistant that can watch a camera or have cameras all over the city and facial recognition and track people. Do I think that he should have not had a fabricator, as Matthew calls it, or a damn 3D printer that can print shit that can suppress your DNA? Yes. I think the movie should not have had any of that shit. It should have been him, as seen at the end of the last film, with a fucking sewing machine, can't pay his rent, no furniture. Now, is this movie 3 years past that point? Yes, it is. Doesn't matter. You can either pick up where it left off or starting anew. The bottom line is what was missing was the J. Jonah Jameson. Okay, the struggling for money. Him having to basically sew his uniform, his outfit, to repair it. I can imagine now he has this AI and a fabricator. He can throw his uniform in there and type in the coordinates, and it sews up the tears, and it magically binds the materials together, and he's good to go. He had a police scanner, a sewing machine, and no money at the end of the last film, and now he has all this other stuff. My point being is that that's just on the front end what I thought this film needed. I also didn't think it needed MJ or Ned. We should have gotten a film with him on his own, truly. At least one film. If you want to bring him back in the next one, if you want to tease him at the end of this one, that's fine. Bring him back in the next film and go from there. But this film should have been dedicated truly to just Tom Holland, who honestly is the best part of Brand New Day. Hands down, the best part of the movie. Most every scene that he is in as Peter or not with a mask is very good. And the dialogue is very good. I thought we needed more of that, more grounded, more low level. We got some of that. I don't think the Punisher should have been in this movie. I appreciate the fact of his inclusion. I love that character. He should not have been in this movie. He serves no purpose with this movie. Eric says Spider-Man falls in love with Jean Grey. I mean, whatever. Bring in Gwen Stacy. I mean, you're collaborating with Marvel. Okay, Marvel's not going to let you do certain things. Initially, Sony wanted this to be part of the MCU, right? Multiverse. Sony said no, or Marvel said no. My apologies. So I'm sure Sony had some ideas. They went through 3 iterations of this film. They had different villains. They had no-name villains. They had big villains. They settled on this villain. Okay, fine, but the villain was nonsensical. Everything she did from the beginning of the film, we would not have had a film had she actually acted like a normal person. Period. Will is in the house. What's up, Will? R788 says, Elliot Page is Gwen Stacy. Good God, what are you trying to do, man? Ruin the film even more? Good to see you. So, look, it's done great. It's done gangbusters. What did I hear in the theater? What are the things I heard? Maybe you heard some of these things in the theater while you were there. I heard, man, it's really awesome to see people out in a movie theater again. I heard that Spooder-Man is one of the few things that could bring a bunch of people together of all ages. I heard that comment standing in line. I heard, I can't wait till Doomsday. I heard Doomsday is going to be a disaster. I heard that, man, there's really nothing after this until Doomsday. I heard that comment. So I heard a bunch of stuff in the theater. But for the most part, it was cool to stand in line at concessions. Now, a 50-minute wait to get my popcorn and Cokes and miss 10, 12 minutes of the movie? No, I was not thrilled about that part. I used to be a stickler for getting to the movie theater on time or before time, sitting there while they've got nothing playing years ago, and then a few years ago they started playing like commercials and trivia and shit like that. I used to be a stickler for getting to the movie theater on time because I wanted to see every trailer. I wanted to soak in the whole experience. And now I could give a shit. I want to show up at 30 minutes past showtime when the movie starts, because not only have most trailers of movies that are coming out aren't good, Jumanji 3, anybody, but they show regular commercials now. Who gives a shit about a Sprint commercial or an iPhone commercial? A car commercial? I can see that shit on TV. I can see it on streaming. I don't want to see that shit at the movie theater. And yet we get normal commercials at the movie theater. I want trailer. But unfortunately, most of the movies coming out are shit. So I don't care about those trailers anymore. And that is a damn shame. And I think a lot of people feel that way now. Some movie sites have even gone so far as to post the actual starting time of the film rather than the starting time of the trailers and such. I appreciate that. However, if you thought you were going to stroll on into Spooder-Man at 7 a.m., 9 a.m., noon, 2, 5, 7, 10, 12, and just walk on in, that shit wasn't happening. And obviously, by these numbers, it's still not happening. Period. So look, overseas, this movie is just crushing it. I'll tell you what I haven't done, and maybe I should, but I haven't looked at a lot of foreign reviews. I haven't looked at a lot of foreign Instagram videos, right? Just to see how people are reacting. But obviously, they're reacting like gangbusters because over 1 billion overseas is fantastic. And look, I love to see it. Regardless of what I think about the movie, regardless of what I tell you what I think about the movie, obviously, people love it. Period. No matter what problems I have with it, people love it. Do I think some of that is based off of the prior film? A little bit. But I will credit Brand New Day with this. The Odyssey, and we'll go back. The Odyssey sitting at number 2 after today, or through today, has not hit $1 billion internationally. has not hit $1 billion domestically, is just over $1 billion total, and had the benefit of IMAX theaters for 2 solid weeks with no competition in that. Triple the ticket price. You can hide your tickets sold behind the fact of how many people saw this in IMAX. How many people were told you have to see this in IMAX? 70 millimeter, only 41 screens or something like that in the United States that could show the film properly the way that it was filmed on 70 millimeter IMAX. You have to go see The Odyssey that way, and a lot of people did. However, don't be fooled by the fact that a lot of this money for The Odyssey was made from IMAX at upwards of sometimes triple the regular ticket price. Doesn't diminish the fact that people have loved The Odyssey or enjoyed The Odyssey. But we have to keep that in mind. Where Spider-Man, which after I think 4 days outgrossed the entire James Gunn DCU with no IMAX screens. What does that tell you? 3-Star Draw is here. Says, I'm still not part of that $1 billion worth of people who sit through them commercials. Also, what's up? Yeah, you know, it just, and I hate that. That used to be something that I enjoyed so much. Going to see the trailers. I would eat my whole freaking bag of popcorn before the damn movie started. How many of you guys out there do that? How many of y'all out there show up for the screen time? You sit through 30 minutes of trailers, and when the movie starts, you've got about 2 inches of popcorn left in your bag if you're lucky. That's me. I eat the whole damn bag during the trailers. Can't stop. So, yes, this movie is successful. Yes, people love it. Justin Booth, how the heck are you? Good to see you. Hey, there's Joe Fan 84 picking up some new toys. Oh, speaking of which, picking up new toys. Shit. I got to show you guys something. Joe Fan, how the heck are you, buddy? Hopefully, Dr. S, call him Dr. S, is doing well. So, you guys know that months ago, I picked up this bad boy. It's falling apart. Fuck it, whatever. Picked this up at the local comic shop, right? And before I break anything, let me make sure I pick up part of the demon. And this arrived a couple days ago. Ta-da! There we go. Finally came in. I was worried to death. No, not really. But yeah, the spoiler came in. And there we have it. So I was glad to see that. But nonetheless, Joe Fan 84 really quickly says, my son is better, thanks for asking. Now mom isn't feeling too well. That's a bummer. Don't want to hear that. Yeah, that demon, that's the original. Super cool, completely put together. No broken pieces, no paint, no nothing. Unfortunately, I don't think this spoiler will fit on the back or on top of it. But 3-Star Draw says, I hate all those regular commercials and shit before the movie. Agreed. Can't stand it. I just hate it because you're sitting through shit you could watch at home or you tune out of, but you're forced now, right? Captivated audience. But I'm still not going to be the guy fumbling through the dark, excuse me, through everyone trying to get to my seat if it can help. Well, I get that, but I got to tell you, it's one thing I've noticed. I even noticed it specifically this last time. Because every time I go see a movie, I try to sit in the back middle. And I'll pre-buy the tickets, right? I'll buy the tickets ahead of time so I can guarantee, and that way if somebody's sitting in the seat, you got to get the fuck out. But usually I go at times where it's not even a problem. Okay, early afternoon, matinee, whatever. If I go by myself. If I go with my son, I still try to buy ahead of time. And so I'll go with him. And if you're on the back row, man, because they had the reclining chairs now, The rows are so fucking big. Like, you could fit two people side by side walking down the aisleway or down the row anymore. And so I get what you're saying. However, these days, I think a lot of it's very easy now that you can get through there. And don't have to play the whole excuse me game, right? You really don't. Eric says they headed to spoiler at GameStop. 3 stars, still hasn't ordered it yet, although I don't think you're going to have trouble getting it. That's for sure. Damn, Justin says I missed the days of 2 to 3 movie trailers and then the movie starts. Yeah, look, 2 to 3 would be fine with me. 15 minutes, I'm good. 35 minutes. The fact that I stood in line for 50 fucking minutes and still missed 10 minutes of the movie, incredible. I told that story on Evening Blend. One family took 20 minutes. 20 minutes to get through, and there was only 2 registers. They went from 5 to 2, and then one family took up one of the registers for 20 minutes. Incredible, dude. It was incredible. I've never seen it before. I don't know if it's a language barrier, which that is something in my neck of the woods that is an issue. I don't know. But anyway, so let's get back here. Let's get back really quickly. Mother Slugs has been too long. Can't remember what goes on at a theater. Talking 2017. Well, I will say this, Mother Slug. I do hate to hear that because, and this is going to lead into my topic here in a little bit, about going to church, about going to a football game, about going to a movie theater. Now, I just got done telling you guys I go at odd times. I go when there's no one there. That's for a personal, schedule, right? Might be the easiest time I have to go. It also is convenient to go by yourself like that sometimes. If you really want to go see a movie alone, is to go at 1 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. If you don't have a job that has you tied up during that time frame, if you understand what I'm saying. But it does help to see stuff like that. But I love going when it is packed and people are into it. Now, I will tell you guys, the one thing I noticed, and my son will back me up on this, the one thing I noticed is that our theater, for the most part, at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night, was pretty quiet. There wasn't clapping, there wasn't cheering, and this is opening weekend. And that told me a lot. It told me a lot. You guys go over to JoeFan84's channel. Check out his video over there, the Collectors Club Dark Lawn, that he posted a video today. So when we get out of here, if you guys are still up, go check out that video and throw a thumbs up to JoeFan84's channel and a subscribe. If you are not subscribed, go do that. Go check out that video. Mother Slug, old theater here in town. Named the Roxy, still shows cartoon, then 2 trailers, then movie. See, I appreciate that. But nonetheless, I think the experience of going, it's like going to church. It's like going to a football game. It's a shared experience. But I will say, our theater was rather quiet. And that told me a lot. I've seen videos in other towns. People clapping, cheering, kids, people dressed up like Spooder-Man, all that. I didn't see any of that stuff. None of that stuff. But it was a Sunday night. It wasn't 10 o'clock. End of the weekend. It wasn't a Friday. It wasn't a Thursday night or whatever, preview night. It wasn't a Friday. It wasn't a Saturday. However, it was still a packed theater. And yet, it was silent. There were no cheers, no clapping, no oohs, no ahs. Like, it really, truly was. And that told me a lot about, I think, what a lot of people who have seen the movie have thought about it. They may not be able to articulate it. They may not tell you some of the stuff that I mentioned on Tuesday night. They may have the cognitive dissonance of I have to like this because it's Spider-Man and I really love the last film, so I have to like this one, even if in my mind I know there's issues I have with it. Maybe I can't articulate it, But I know it wasn't right. I know there was something about the film that just didn't sit right with me. But by God, I've got to like it. I have to like it. And I think that drives some of the sales. It drives some of the conversation. Because a lot of people will tell other people, yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, it was really good. Man, it's got good action. Or Tom Holland was really good. It was but in their mind, they know that there was something there that didn't work. There were wires that didn't connect. They can't articulate it. And a lot of times it's because they don't, I say don't do this. Obviously I do this, but this is this is about the smallest scale you can get, right, on YouTube. So like, I say I do this, I could just as well be having this conversation with you guys individually. You could be sitting at my bar, as with people today and last night. I had this conversation with people today and last night. It'd be the same thing as me having that conversation in person with you. So people have been telling people it's awesome, loved it. But when I ask them certain questions about the film, they can't articulate exactly what it was they really loved. It's very generalized. Very, very generalized. And that's okay. That's okay. Because I'm glad people are going to the theater. I'm glad they're seeing it. That's what I want. I want movies in the theater. I'd love to see a movie every month. That's what we used to do. Right? No matter what age. No matter if you're younger. Hell, you probably got more money now in your life than you ever had prior. At 40, 50 years old. You could go see a damn movie if you want to, right? Why do you not? Well, as, let's see here. As Justin Booth says, I usually wait a week after a film releases and usually go to an early show with little to no one is in the theater. That's part of it. Let's see here. And Justin continues and says, I don't like when others are talking or making noise when I'm watching the movie. A lot of people feel that way. They've gotten so comfortable watching at home in the privacy of their own home with no one around or the family not making noise, right? And there's nothing going on. You can settle in. It's hard to do at a movie theater. But in recent years, it's been really easy because no one's going until something like this happens. Let's see here. Eric Thurman says, I've seen 4 movies this summer. That's great. I think I've seen 3 so far. Maybe 4. Project Hail Mary. I'm trying to think of summer. But, yeah, I've seen. 3-Star says, when does Street Fighter start? Summer is almost over. Well, tell you what. Let's take a look. If you guys beat me to it, by all means, post in the chat. Street Fighter movie 2026 is okay. You'd think it would literally tell you just immediately. October 16th. So we have something in October, right? It's going to be a couple months before we really get anything, but October is good. Stanley says Super Troopers 3 date night. Yeah, look, I watched a review of Super Troopers 3 the other day from Film Threat, and, it is what it is. If you know what those guys do, then you know what to expect, right? There's no surprises. There's no, it was totally different than what I thought it was going to be. The difference is, I think, with this one is that back in the day, they used weed as a big part of their comedy, as a big part of maybe even not plot or whatever. And that's not really the case with the new one. And when you take that element away from it, it kind of changes it a little bit. So I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on it, Stanley, for sure. And Eric says, I saw a poster for Street Fighter, but no preview unless I don't remember it. I didn't see anything. I haven't seen one single movie theater preview for Street Fighter out at all. I've only seen them on YouTube. I mean, think about movie trailers on TV. Right? Like, companies aren't even spending the money on trailers on TV. And if they do, it's very limited. Right? Because they don't believe in most of these movies they're putting out, which is always why they put them out then. Bobby Wold is here. What's up, Bobby? Every movie that has come out in the last couple of years have completely drained all enthusiasm going to the theaters. And I think that's what's happened for a lot of people. Right? Again, they may not be able to articulate it, but it spreads. And people start reading articles, they start seeing YouTube videos, Instagram videos on their feed, whatever, and there's more awareness to it now. There was always bad movies. There was always shit movies, B-rated movies, C-rated movies, movies with tits, movies that had dumb jokes, movies that were physical comedy, action schlock bullshit. Right after the 80s and into the 90s, action films were not what they used to be. I mean, there's always been shitty movies, but we had more decent movies to balance it out, which consistently brought people to the theater. On top of that, yes, it has long been a running joke that theaters and the tickets are expensive. Popcorn is expensive. Cokes are expensive. Snacks are expensive. That's why people go to Walgreens and they sneak their snacks in and all that. But people still were going. There's a running joke that they're going to charge the shit out of you when you get in, just like concessions at a football game or basketball game or whatever. But people still went. The thing that's changed is the movies are nowhere near as decent to balance out the shitty movies. It's overwhelmingly been the other way. Because you think about it, right? Like, you would go, if you saw things you liked that interest you, trailers that interest you, you will go. You will spend your money on a product. Hell, we buy toys. We buy action figures that we probably know that we kind of like, but we don't really love some of them, but we still buy them anyway because the good stuff outweighs the mediocre stuff. Eric's Theater was clapping, crying, cheering. It was great. See, that's fun. We did not have that experience. Did not have that experience. And Bobby says, one thing I have any excitement for would be the G.I. Joe movie Danny McBride working on. Yeah, we talked about it, and as we move on, we're going to talk more about that as casting choices get announced, as plot details maybe leak, as we get some imagery on set pictures and things start leaking. So yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. Of course, I want to talk about that. Mother Slug sounds like they want to like it, but can't explain why. So the simple answer is saying I loved it, hence the reasons why they can't explain a scene in a movie. Yes, there are things in the movie that I think people are recognizing don't sit right. But again, when you're at $1.6 billion after just 10 days of release, people still like it. October, yeah, Street Fighter. So that's the hard part, right? And see, you understand this. An October release date, right, means that they don't have a lot of faith in the film. But if you really think about it in these terms, though, think about this, Darren. Let's say they released Street Fighter up against the Odyssey. Maybe they had a week before the Odyssey came out. And then 3 weeks later, Spider-Man came out. The movie would have no chance at all. And let's say they release it in late August. Well, Spider-Man, here we are, August 7th, right? Spider-Man's 10 days in release. This thing's going to roll for a while, so Street Fighter still would have no chance, especially, again, up against the Odyssey. So your best bet is to at least get through the month of September. And they probably saw that release schedule, and they probably were like, yeah, we need to back this up. We don't need to go up against Spider-Man. We don't need to go up against the Odyssey because all the Christopher Nolan fans are going to be out. Let's back it up to October. And maybe, just maybe, if it's a good film, we can take the month of October, right? We can take October into November. When there's nothing else out, right? Before Doomsday, because anything that releases around Doomsday is going to get dwarfed. I think Spider-Man Brand New Day was 100% going to make more money than Avengers Doomsday, without a doubt. I don't give a shit how many names you have in that movie. I don't give a shit what kind of plot it is. It's not Infinity War. It's not Endgame. It's Spider-Man Brand New Day. Going to absolutely outclass Avengers Doomsday. But yeah, so for Street Fighter, what chance did they have, right? I mean, that's kind of the way I look at it. Like, what chance did they really have? They just kind of had to pick a window and look at what was going to be out, what was upcoming, and say, can we slide in the slot? But I understand and your comment's totally valid. Like, what kind of, did they have a good feeling about the movie? Or let's just jump it. At least it didn't come out in February. Right? March. January. I think the only trailer they've done for it at all is the casting one. Yeah, you might be right. There might be one other one. Mother Slug also says, only movie I've seen in theaters 1, 2, and 3 that the theater crowd literally got up out of their seats and started cheering and yelling at the screen was Rocky. Okay. Long time ago. If you're talking about the original. I would do a Punisher's chill video for your channel, Eric. Mr. Wonderful, how the heck are you? Good to see you, my friend. What if Spider-Man released when Doomsday released? That's the question. Why would Marvel want to pit two of their movies up against each other? Now, mind you, this is a Sony film, and Sony gets 75% of the profit. Marvel gets 25%. Doomsday, it's all Marvel. But, you know, if you're just hypothetically speaking, I do think Spider-Man would still outdraw it because, again, we just talked about it. Spider-Man is the #1, hands down, superhero, recognizable in the world. I'm curious to see what Doomsday does internationally. Whereas you flip Spider-Man around the other way, right? I'm curious to see what it does. October is clobbering time, folks. Let's not mistake it with anything else. And Justin Boo says, I'm going to laugh my ass off if Street Fighter outdoes both Supergirl and Superman. I'm not sure it will. I don't know enough about the movie to really declare that it will, but it will I think it might outdo Supergirl if it's enjoyable. I mean, Supergirl has only crossed like $125 million. Like total. Like total. $125 million. Total. It's brutal. Absolutely brutal. Let's see. Make sure. Yeah, I got you, Justin. I got you, buddy. You got a safety net. As Todd C says, you got a friend in me. Todd, how you doing? Did I miss all the pop glaze on Spider-Man? No. There's no glaze here. I did not like the film. I liked parts of it. I did not really like it overall. I have a lot of issues with it. Matthew and I kind of got in a little bit of an argument Tuesday night. A little bit. But I think when Matthew starts going back and really delving into it, I think he's going to come around, folks. Yeah, Mr. Wonderful, I didn't. I did not like it in the moment while we were in the theater, and I didn't like it subsequently afterwards thinking about it. And I hate that. I wish that wasn't the case. I really, really do. I know that people are like, you hate Disney and you hate most everything, and it's not true because the thing of it is, and what I want people to understand is, relative to what's come before, I think that's where we have to have your bar. Like, set your bar at the best movies, the greatest movies. Is every movie going to come up to that bar? No, of course it's not. But you have to at least set your bar high enough that you don't just go, well, I'll just accept anything just because. Just because it's Spider-Man, it's got to be good. You know, it's just not that easy. And for me, in Spider-Man, Mr. Wonderful, there are just some fundamental issues with the movie that I had, um, that I thought really got in the way of this being a really cool beginning again, starting over Spider-Man movie of what it should have been with different characters thrown in. I did see, where was it at really quickly? Todd says, damn, why can't you and Matt agree on anything? I know, right? We usually do for the most part, but we definitely came at a little bit different angles. And I think he had a lot more fun with Spider-Man Brand New Day than I did. And honestly, these days, I could know the entire plot of a movie. It doesn't matter to me. If I enjoy it, it doesn't matter how much of the movie I know about. Is it fun to be surprised? Yeah, it is. But when you dig up articles and you look up for stuff, news stories to talk about and bring up on streams, like I do, you're going to come across spoilers. You're going to watch streams or read articles that tell you what's going on with movies and TV shows. Let alone the adaptations sometimes, like House of the Dragon, for instance. I know what happens in House of the Dragon. I know what's going to happen to all these characters. How are they going to adapt it to the show? I don't know. But I know the history, and I know what's going to happen to every single character in the show. Doesn't change my enjoyment of it. I still do enjoy the show. It has its moments. It's not the best material out there for Game of Thrones, so to speak. Let's see here. Yeah, he should have grown spider legs. I think they cut that because they were scared children were going to be. They were scared children were going to be scared. But I think that visually would have been stunning to show us him having dreams, losing control, six-legged Spider-Man. Right. I mean, I'm not spoiling anything because that doesn't happen. So, but I think that would have been cool. I think that would have been added. I think it would have been very, very visually striking, and I think it would have added to the film. But they stayed very far away from it. As a matter of fact, the issue of the film with him and his powers, his body, is very surface level and hardly delved into at all. Hardly delved into at all. Except for his eyes turning black and his temper changing. I had more fun in Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire and the way he was acting in that movie than I did with the changes in Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I had way more fun watching Tobey Maguire be an asshole and dance to James Brown and then do the whole jazz scene with Mary Jane in the bar that she's at. That was way more fun to me. I think that movie's overstuffed. It has too many villains. It has too many studio notes. But I had way more fun with Spider-Man 3 and Bully Maguire. Way more fun. Let's not let this comment be overlooked. Yes, Jordan greater than LeBron. Todd C says, and Matthew says Jordan is the GOAT, then Pop will say LeBron is. No, it'd be the other way around. And actually, I don't think Matthew would disagree with me at all about that. Lest we forget who one Wilt Chamberlain was, because not only on the court was Wilt Chamberlain amazing, off the court, Wilt the Stilt was the man with the plan. If you know, you know. I didn't say it was better than this movie. I said that I liked the way the changes in Peter and the way that they portrayed what was going on with him, with the with Venom, so to speak, symbiote. I like that better. Now, I don't think it's a better film, and I hate that because Spider-Man 2, widely recognized, and in my opinion, it's the best Spider-Man movie. But I don't think it's a better movie. I just think that it's a they portrayed some things with Peter and his body changing and what he was dealing with. I like it better the way they did it better. Was it cheeky? Yes. Was it a little goofy and over the top? Yes, it was. But again, I think that Raimi had a plan. The studio really noted him to death. He had a horrible time working on that film. But I did like those things. I don't think it's a better film overall, though. Very disappointed in Spider-Man 3, and I think most of us would agree with that. Let's see here. And Mother Slug says, I'll be honest, my biggest gripe with all movies today in age is it's all digital. Something about the old grainy look of stock film just sets right with me. Love it more. You guys tell me, do you like old school film stock? Do you like the way that movies used to look? I think this new Spider-Man movie carries some of those traits. It does a better job. Now, is there CGI? Is there green screen in this movie? Yes, there is. Did they try to do as many practical swinging effects? Yes, they did. But it goes beyond swinging effects. I think the lighting and cinematography is better in this film. I'm not saying it's a better movie, but I think the lighting, the way they shot it, it has a different look, and it reminded me of old school film stock. Yes, I missed that. Is it hard to show your kids movies from the 70s and 80s? Yes, it is. It can be a great movie, but by God, sometimes, man, you can tell. They're not watching HD. They're not watching 4K. You turn on an older movie, no matter how good it is, and I can only imagine what that's like for them to watch because they have no reference of that. They have no reference point of that. All their reference is YouTube in 4K or on their tablet in HD, 1080p or 1440, right, at 60 frames a second. They go into their settings, whatever it is, playing video games. They just don't have a reference for older films. But for you and I, yes, I appreciate the way film used to look. It was different. Special. Now, YouTube videos and movies coming out look the same. And the talent level that's shooting the movies and framing them, the cinematography, the sound is not as good as it used to be. Talent is lost. They have booted out a bunch of talented people through, yes, DEI hiring and other hiring practices. They have run out a bunch of talented people. And now you have less qualified people in those jobs. It's just true. I don't know how other way to put it. It is a fact, period. Just look at Pixar. Look at what's happened to Pixar at that studio. Cypher63, how are you, man? Good to see you. Thanks for jumping in here. Cooking with Eric says, Big Eric Thermos's Spider-Man should have died. I can't say that. Right, I can't say that. And I don't want to go too much in the film because I assume there are people that still have not seen it yet because the damn tickets are so hard to get. If you haven't seen the film, Tuesday night with Matthew, the only way we could talk about the movie and be earnest with it was to go into what happens in the movie. You can't dance around some of these things because they're major issues. I could dance around them tonight a bit. For those of you that have watched that evening blend from last Tuesday or tuned in for a little bit and caught our opinions. But I didn't want to just go all in on the film. I really wanted to bring it around to my discussion on the shared experience, which is something that I think is extremely important and is something that is lost in today's society. We're about to get into that. Mr. Wonderful says, my 18-year-old and 15-year-old went to watch Sandlot and Goonies at drive-ins tonight. See, that's awesome. And those are good movies. They're fun movies. At a drive-in, right? There's something about that. Good movies will always stand the test of time. I don't give a shit if it's Ben-Hur, right? Or if it's Infinity War. Doesn't matter. If it's good, people will recognize. Period. They just will. I want to show you guys something. And I think you'll appreciate it. I think you guys will appreciate this. Let's see here. Make sure that I've got this page lined up. Let's see here. Yeah. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our Sweeney break. Here's our Sweeney break, folks, from Instagram, official Sydney Sweeney page, frolicking about with a friend. Our official Sydney Sweeney break. I mean, come on. I aim to please, friends. I aim to please. Yeah. Yeah. One more time, and away we go. It's kind of hard to talk when this is on the screen. Hence, I will just let it play. Our Sydney Sweeney break, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sweater puppies everywhere. I couldn't help myself. Yeah. I don't scroll through Instagram often, but when I do, I make sure to pick out the important stuff. Speaking of which, in reference to, you know, this is what we should have got, right? I mean, this is what we should have gotten. With Frank, by the way. I mean, this could have been horrifying. It could have been a dream sequence, right? But this would have been awesome. Would it have been horrifying to children? I mean, I guess, but like, let's not kid ourselves. Frank Castle says shit a bunch of times. I think he says like maybe GD or whatever. Like it's, you know, whatever. Do you think this would have been the breaking point for children? I mean, come on, man. I don't know. Some of those decisions really, I just didn't understand. Justin Booth says, Hollywood has gotten so bad that most actresses are distancing themselves from that city. It actually is true. You have seen actors and actresses getting away from the city, moving out. Paramount's talking about moving to Nashville from LA. That would be humongous, unprecedented in a way. Is it going to happen? I don't think so. However, it would be something. It really would be something to see. So, I don't know. But nonetheless, Bobby Walt says, Pixar's roughly 15 minutes away from me. When they were doing the Cars, the Hudson I inherited from my dad went down to do sound clips for it. Awesome, dude. But so did 5 other cars. No one knows which car was used. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool and fun. And you know what? Even if you don't know, right? Like, it's fun to have gone down there and done that and then set up, put the mics and all that kind of stuff and record sounds from a Hudson, OG. I mean, super cool. Mother Slug says, Jaws, best movie ever made, still stands strong on grainy film. Just saying, it aged very well. We went to see that movie, my son and I, in that 4DX or whatever. Where they spit water at you, or they have the water and they have smoke and all that stuff. And it was really fun to see Jaws that way. It was an absolute blast to see Jaws that way. Really, really fun. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have Transformers coming out for, I think, 3 or 4 days in theaters. The original OG movie in September, if I'm not mistaken. 17th through the 21st, something like that. Anyway, there is a new scene, I guess, credit scene or somewhere in there. It's been teased, But they have done new animation, I guess, for the movie to add to the story. I'll be going to see the movie in the theater. Are you gonna go see the OG Transformers movie in theaters? You guys let me know. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun to get on stream and talk about it, revisit it. I think we've all seen it. I think we all feel the way we feel about it. Will it be fun to go see it in the theaters, though? Absolutely. You kidding me? I want to see what kind of crowd it gets. I think that'd be fun. Clint has spent 2 weeks in Spokane in July. No other girls look like her up there. I firmly believe that. One of a kind, my friend, at least in my book, that's for sure. So on days where you think you got it bad, folks, on days where you think you got it bad, I just want to show you that you don't. That you don't have it bad. Let's see here. Let me get my... Tell you what. There we go. Need a little volume for this. I want to show you guys something. And then I want you to understand, when you think you got it bad, folks, you ain't got it bad. And seeing the spirit of this young lady is incredible. Maybe you've seen this, maybe you haven't.
It's hair washing day. Let's wash my hair. If someone's a builder and they want to build us a more accessible shower, you know where to bring me. I'm going to start by turning the water on. Okay, let's start by shampooing my hair with the Dr. Brew shampoo. Y'all were really onto something by talking about this. It feels so good. I feel like it really breaks up the got-to-be glued hair spray that I love using on my hair for some slick backs.
This shit is crazy.
Rinse out the first shampoo. Okay, now we're gonna do round 2 of shampoo.
This is fucking crazy.
Okay, let's rinse it.
So when you think you got it bad,
we're going to condition the hair with their new conditioner.
this is somebody with no arms and no fucking legs
2 hours
making
later.
YouTube videos.
Okay, 2 minutes is up. Let's rinse the conditioner out.
Just to take a shower, yo. So when you think you can't do something and you think you can't get up and go to work, you think you can't... I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit at all. This shit is crazy. I came across this video not long ago and then somebody sent it to me. This is incredible. Absolutely incredible. What can you say? Like, man, life has dealt you a lot of hands in that instance, and you still doing shit everyday life. It's crazy. Yeah, a mech suit. Incredible, though. I mean, I just find that so incredible. I'm like, man, humans are adaptable, man. They overcome, they figure shit out, right? You learn shit. And that shit is unbelievable, man. Absolutely unbelievable. That I don't know, my friend. Maybe she has a really good friend. You know what I mean? Snake armor, that's pretty wild. I'm sure she probably would take some snake armor. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not kid ourselves. Dave Brocky from Gwar, rest in peace. I think he did the stat of the day on the Dan Patrick Show. Stat of the day. This is the stat of the... I think he did that one. I think he did that song. Said it best, just when you thought you have it bad in life, some other asshole in the world has it worse than you. 100%. Period. And I tell you, that video we just watched will show, that's case in point, my friends. Case in point. Okay. Let's see here. I don't know if you guys saw this story, but I think you'll appreciate it. I saw this the other day. Who knows if it's truly real, but it is fun to talk about. Spider-Man screening ends in the most unexpected way. A screening of Spider-Man Brand New Day reportedly came to an abrupt end after an audience member allegedly unleashed what witnesses jokingly described as a Hulk-sized fart. According to attendees, the smell quickly spread through the theater, becoming so overwhelming that many moviegoers chose to leave their seats, with some claiming the screening had to be evacuated. This bizarre story has exploded across social media. Have you ever been in a theater? Have you ever been in a theater where you either were the farter or a fartee? I remember when I saw The Return of the King, it was absolutely packed. Absolutely packed for Return of the King. And the theater was so packed, in fact, people were sitting in the aisles, the stairs. Okay? As a matter of fact, I think I had to watch the Two Towers sitting on the steps of the theater. That's how packed it was when Two Towers came out. Eventually was able to find a seat, or one of my friends, I don't know, whatever happened. But anyway, but during The Return of the King, this dude in our aisle, about 6 or 7 seats down from us, I think it was in our aisle, might have been the one up from us, vomited in the middle of the movie. And those movies are long. And I remember initially the smell, initially being like, oh no, right? Like, oh no. And somehow it it subsided, because I was like, I'll be damned if I'm leaving this packed fucking theater because some drunk ass threw up all over himself. Because I remember the dude got up, and disappeared, never came back. But the smell, and unfortunately, the movie theater's air conditioning was not working at that time. So you can imagine all of us there as some guy throws up on himself, and we're watching Return of the King, and there's no AC, and it's like summer of 2003 or whenever that movie came out. I'll never forget that. It's disgusting. But eventually it went away, and we were able to finish the movie. But I did think for a moment I was going to have to get up and leave. Oh no, Cooter died today. Holy shit. Damn. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law will allow. Well, Cooter, rest easy, my friend. You made us proud down here and in Hazard County. Oh, yeah, you got to save them for loud action scenes. I know I have. You ever been on live stream, y'all? You ever been on live stream where you just had to just rip it? Just had to get it and go, right? You do one of these little maneuvers real quick. You're like, yeah, Matthew, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, so I was thinking, a little behind the scenes. We're in front of the scenes. I don't give a shit. You know me. I don't give a fuck. Mother Slugs, it's a true story. I was at Wildwood, New Jersey movie theater at night, and the first 4 rows were flooding from high tide ocean water. What the fuck? Damn, dude. No, 100%, Waylon. Come on with it. Even at the end of the song, when he says, they don't show my face, they show my hands on TV. Because, they just show him playing the guitar, but they never showed Waylon's face in the credits. Pull the mic, Ditka. Anyway, so yeah, serial farter, Spider-Man. What are you doing, buddy? Like, you just. I mean, how would you know though, right? Sometimes you think I'm just squeeze one, sneak one out, and then it just, you know, blows everybody's mind, right? Amazingly, this became a story. I did want to show you guys really quickly. I did want to bring this up with Matthew. Damn, I don't know. I guess I should save it. I kind of feel bad. I tell you what, I will save this story. The Mad King play, though, I'll give you a little precursor. The Mad King play in the UK has been cast, and I can't wait to go over that cast with you fine folks. Keep a showing my hands and not my face on TV. That's it. All right, I want to talk about the shared experience. And I'm going to bring up an article, and I'm also going to bring up kind of what Gemini gave me, which I find interesting to say the least. Okay. So, this is an article called The Disappearance of Pop Culture. And I think it's interesting. And maybe you guys will agree. Maybe not. But I think it is an interesting look at the kind of numbers they go down. All right. So I'll kind of go through this quickly. The disappearance of pop culture. Number 1, the fading echoes of a monoculture. In 1983, a staggering 83 million viewers, 90% of U.S. households, gathered around their televisions to watch the MASH finale. A shared moment that defined a generation and etched itself into cultural history. Fast forward to today, and no single show, song, or movie captures that kind of universal attention, leaving us to wonder where those collective experiences have gone. Pop culture, once a powerful, unifying force of shared references that bridge generations and communities, seems to have fragmented into countless niche silos, each catering to a hyper-specific tastes. In this disappearance of a cultural monoculture permanent, or can we find a way to reclaim a collective cultural identity? As we explore the shift, let's reflect on our own media habits with a nostalgic yet balanced lens, considering what we've lost and what we might still regain. Okay? And as you guys post, for instance, like Wonder Years, MASH, so to speak, right? Some of this stuff may strike a chord in you. The evidence, a fractured cultural landscape. The signs of pop culture's fragmentation is undeniable, as shared cultural touchstones have given way to a splintered media landscape. Streaming platforms like Netflix, with their algorithm-driven personalization, prioritize individual tastes over mass appeal. Take The Night Agent, which racked up 98 million views in 2023, but quickly faded from conversation, lacking the enduring cultural resonance of shows like Friends. Music charts tell a similar story. TikTok-driven hits like Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso in 2024 may spike in popularity, but they vanish just as fast, unable to match the lasting dominance of Michael Jackson's Thriller, which sold 66 million copies worldwide. It goes on then to talk about Taylor Swift's tour, grossing $1 billion in 2023, or the Game of Thrones finales briefly unite audiences, but they're outliers in diminishing returns. Even Marvel, for instance, blockbusters like The Marvels earned just $206 million compared to the Avengers Endgame's $2.8 billion just 4 years earlier. A lot of people feel like nothing feels universal. You guys grew up on Casey Kasem's Top 40, right? We grew up. You counted down on Sundays from 40 to number 1. listening for your favorite songs, maybe taking a boombox and recording a tape off the radio to get your song without having to go buy it. And then you got to the top 10. And everybody wondered what was going to take over the number one spot in the nation. Now, certain years, certain months, you knew nothing was going to take over. You knew Michael Jackson was going to be number one. You knew Prince was going to be number one. Clint, Shadow Stevens, I get it. I remember when Shadow took over, actually, Clint. I was not as big a fan as Shadow Stevens, but yes, I definitely know who Shadow Stevens is, but I prefer Casey Kasem. And you can, on YouTube, go back and pull up America's Top 40 from different years and different months. The full broadcast. And I highly recommend you guys do it sometimes because it's a real fun walk down memory lane to listen to Casey read his long distance dedication, to listen to him preview the artist before the song comes on, to listen to what was hip in February, third week of February, 1976. That's fun. It's really fun. I highly recommend it. And I know, I figured you were. But some people, they grew up on Shadow Stevens, right? Nonetheless, point being is that we all shared the experience of like when Thriller was released. We all shared the experience of counting down the top 40. We all shared the experience of Thursday night when you had Cheers, Cosby Show, Night Court, right? That's a shared experience. It gives people something to talk about at work the next day. The water cooler moment that I think a lot of us really miss now. And I think a lot of us don't know that we miss it because we become, like anything, we adapt. We move on. It's popular today, will be gone tomorrow. We're nostalgic. Streaming shows come out. We talk about them, and then they're gone. You don't discuss them. You don't hypothesize. You don't fan theory, right? And so in that respect, we've lost a bit. We've lost a lot, actually. Now, to me, it seems, as I read through this article, like, for instance, why is this happening? The disintegration of a unified pop culture can be traced to several interconnected forces, starting with the transformative role of technology and algorithms. Let's not beat around the bush, folks. As much as Facebook was supposedly designed to connect us all, it has absolutely divided us all. We have become a more divided society. We've become more globally inclusive, right? When it comes to news and finding out things and what's happening on the other side of the planet. But we are more insular and divided than ever before. Period. And that from pop culture, because pop culture runs downstream from politics. It runs downstream from the heavy shit. Because of Facebook, because of TikTok, because of Instagram, because of X, because of other social media sites, we trick ourselves, in my opinion, of thinking we're sharing things, of thinking that we're liking those photos, of thinking that we're, man, that's a funny meme. And yes, you're doing those things. But the reality is I think because of the forced algorithm, because you're only fed the shit that you like, even if you've only looked at a couple things 2 or 3 times, your algorithm that's fed to you, and mainly for advertising purposes, is so heavily weighted in whatever you just looked at or might have been interested in that day, sometimes it's impossible to fucking get rid of. But the byproduct of that is you don't get to experience other things that may be counter to what you might think or feel or be interested in that you could possibly get interested in. And I know the counter is like, well, yeah, but other stuff could come up and it might turn you on to something else you would have never thought of. Yeah, that's true. Very true. But the reality is that it's so weighted and it's trying to drill down exactly what you want to keep feeding you what you want, to keep you on the app. Because if you saw a bunch of stuff that you didn't really jive with, that you weren't interested in, you wouldn't stay on the app as long. Right? Now, everything now is such a sub-genre, such a sub-culture. And I agree, Todd, with you 100%. And I also agree as far as talking about it for several years now. I totally agree with you. And I brought this up a lot. And yes, YouTube is social media. Here's the thing, though. And it's the one thing I'm going to star that comment. Okay? Because there's something about YouTube that I want to bring up. So, here's the thing for me. Music. God, I love music. And I love playing drums. And I grew up on all the classic rock and the 80s hits and the 70s hits and disco and funk and rock and roll and new wave and all that shit. And I love a lot of it. And a lot of that music is very well known to everybody. If something comes on, chances are you've probably heard it. If it's bad English. If it's Foreigner, if it's Van Halen, if it's Prince, okay? Even the Terrence Trent D'Arbys of the world, you've probably heard it, okay? Today's music is nothing but subgenre after subgenre after subgenre. To the point where, yeah, you can find an artist or band that you really love, and it might be some shit that you really dig. And you could bring it up to every one of your friends, and not a single fucking person has ever heard of that artist. It's one thing to bring up an artist that's underground, about to break. You tell all your friends about it. Man, you gotta catch this band, they're about to break, man. Start getting radio play, start getting some advertising. Some DJs start spinning those records like it used to be in the back, the old days. And then a band would break and you go, I told you, man, these motherfuckers were awesome, man. I told you the Cars were fucking awesome. I told you the Offspring was the shit. Whatever. It's not how it operates anymore. The economy of the music industry doesn't operate that way anymore. It's no longer about the music. That's the sad part. But because it's about the social media. My point is that we no longer have Casey Kasem's top 40 for all of us to share with the timpani roll, right? The big timpani roll. Let's see if I can find that bad boy really quickly. I think I got it in here somewhere. Maybe not. Who knows? But you get the big timpani roll, and you get the big, And this week's number one song in the nation is Madonna, Holiday. Whatever. Right? That's what I'm talking about. We no longer have that experience of the timpani roll. So when you lose that shared experience, when you lose that, I think we become even more insular. We become even more within our confines, right? I know you guys have heard it. People buy houses, bigger houses now with less yard. Because they don't go outside. You have your theater inside. You have big playroom inside. Your big bonus room for your kids. You can do everything inside that you want to do. Don't know your neighbor. Don't talk to your neighbor. Don't say hello to your neighbor. Scurry in from the driveway before you have to wave at your neighbor. You don't want to get caught talking to him. Heaven forbid that fucking happens. And I think even pop culture, as much as we love a lot of the same things, going to that Spider-Man movie made me realize that we have lost the very normal thing of sharing experiences together. I mean, trace it across the board. Man, it's a lot easier to watch a football game on TV than it is to go to the game, isn't it? Got your own bathroom. Don't have to wait in line. Got your own snacks. You don't have to pay $10 or $15 for a beer. Right? You make all the arguments in the world for staying away from the shared experience. I can watch church on TV. They're streaming the sermon. They're streaming the sermon from the church. I just watch it at home on my computer. I pull it up on my phone while I'm sitting out back on my deck smoking a cigarette, drinking a coffee. Why do I need to go? I can worship alone. Now, as many people say, you do not have to have a house of God, so to speak, to go worship. You can worship at home alone. That is okay. Of course it is. But you get where I'm coming from, right? We become so insular. It's a detriment now. And what happens is, in my opinion, is we get used to being insular. We get used to being away from each other. We get used to, and COVID was so horrible for this because it allowed people to retreat even more so and become even more insular and not be in society, to not be out, to not deal with people. And I get it. A lot of people say, why the fuck do I want to deal with people? Fully understand. Can't blame you. 100%. People love animals more than humans. I get it. Humans are assholes. And the older you get, the more you realize they don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about anything about you. But when it comes to pop culture, we used to be able to buy the comic and go talk about it with each other, right? In person. You'd see the movie, the TV show. You'd watch an episode of Friends, the Thanksgiving episode. You'd talk about it the next day at work. You'd go to a concert and you'd watch the damn concert instead of watching the thousands or hundreds of people in front of you doing this bullshit right here. This bullshit right here. Trying to watch a concert while everybody's doing this. The whole fucking show. I hate that shit. Because everybody wants to record the moments that they'll never go back and watch on their damn phone. Take 30 pictures of your fucking lunch. You never go back and look at it one time. You just share the picture and then you sit back and hope people like it to reinforce the fact of why you took the picture in the first place so you can feel good about yourself. I don't fucking know. Shit is weird. But nonetheless, it was nice to see people out for Spider-Man. It was nice to see people out at the theater and hearing people talk about how cool it was that people were out at the theater. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic. It didn't matter. All kinds of people were there, standing in line. Now, not everybody was talking to each other. They were talking to their friends that they were there with. But the bottom line is people were out. Okay? So economic shifts in the media industry compound the problem as companies pivot away from mass appeal to chase niche audiences for profit, which doesn't work. We know it doesn't work. We watch it with all these streaming shows. We watch it when they pander to these ideological fucked up groups, when they put bullshit into Halo, when they put bullshit into Fallout, when they put bullshit into whatever it is, and we watch it happen time and time again. They pander to whatever modern audience, whatever the fuck that means, whoever that is, that doesn't support the shows or watch the shows, and yet these companies have been chasing this mythical audience for years. We see it time and time again. Streaming giants like Disney Plus and HBO Max focus on targeted content, think Star Wars spinoffs or Euphoria, rather than broad appeal hits that could unite diverse viewers. In the music industry, streaming revenue, which reached $14.3 billion for Spotify in 2023. By the way, if you wonder how much of that goes to the artists or goes to the bands or goes to the writers, it ain't shit. prioritizes viral snippets over album-length cultural moments, further eroding the potential for lasting shared phenomena. Media companies are incentivized to cater to specific demographics, ensuring subscriptions, but sacrificing the universal appeal that once defined pop culture. How many times do we see for black audiences, for gay audiences, for Muslim audiences, for whatever audience, right? Everything is broken and segmented now. Instead of trying to bring everybody together and have everybody watch a film they may enjoy because you tell a good story, which everyone, every culture, every person, black, white, gay, straight, whatever, can relate to because it's a human condition story. Instead, everything has to be broken down. Has to be broken down into various demographics. And it has to target specific demographics. And if you don't fit in that demographic, well, they're not catering to you. Right? And that's a shame because Prince had music that unified white people and black people. Funk bands had white and black people. I don't know about country music. We're still on the way. We'll see. But my point is there have been artists throughout history that have unified people no matter where you came from, no matter what background. Video games. When's the last shared experience for a video game that people had? When is the last experience for that? Do you guys remember the midnight releases where you go to GameStop in the mall and you wait for a console release or a video game release and you would sit there in line talking to people about the video games? You know? That's gone. Physical media. Disappearing. PlayStation no longer pressing discs as of 2028. Those experiences are gone. The experiences they want you to have, no, we don't want couch co-op. We don't want you to hang out with your buddy on the couch and play a game. No. They have to have their own Xbox subscription and log in on your Xbox also. You have to have your Xbox subscription that you pay for also so you can play the game. But guess what? You can't do couch co-op. So you know what they have to do? They have to play from home. So you can play together with some headphones on and you can talk to each other, but you know what you can't do? You can't play the game side by side on a couch like you used to be able to. Football games. Can't do that shit no more. And that's a shared experience between two people just having fun, right? Destiny 2 raids, as Todd C says, right? And you are correct. Got to take the good and the bad. Honestly came here to engage with other toy collectors, but I see the worst of the worst, the collecting community on here. And that is why I will tell you guys, if you do not see me in a lot of the toy streams, it's because I have personally withdrawn. I've personally withdrawn from a lot of the toy streams because there's a lot of people I just don't need. There's a lot of people I like. The people in here that have been in this stream that show up, man, and I can have discourse with and back and forth. But I go into some other streams, man, and like there's people moderating for people. There are people I just cannot support. But you're right, Todd. You're absolutely right. And that's unfortunate. Now, most of the people that I have met, that I have come across, I think are really cool people. But you'll find that in every community. Okay? You'll find that in every community. There are people that you're gonna butt heads with, right? But man, oh man, there are some people that I just, you know, after a while, I'm like, you know what, man, I don't need this. I'm good. I'm A-okay. And that's life. That's how it goes, right? Yeah, Destiny 2 raids, Todd. I mean, just shit like that, man. You know what I mean? Like, that shared experience and then be able to talk about that, right? And look, I know as we get older, we become definitely more insular. We pull back, right? We don't go out all the time, whether you did or not. But overall, as a society, it's detrimental in the fact that, you know, kids coming up have no concept of what that is. They have no concept of sitting in front of the TV on a Tuesday night because they have to watch this show. That's an experience. Just like you talked about MASH earlier, like 90% of the fucking TV audience tuned in for the MASH finale, the Friends finale, Lost, you name it. Now that we have streaming, now you have to pay for all this bullshit. Most of it's bullshit. Nobody cares because it's not good. And it's all fragmented. And you find your niche, right? Whether it's toys, whether it's movies and TV. You find your niche, right? And that's cool. But it used to be bigger. And people used to hear of shows and stuff. It used to get promoted. I miss the days of 26 episodes of a TV show, and you would watch it. And then for the summertime, it was reruns. And then in the fall, that's when it geared up for a brand new season with 26 episodes. How did we go from 26 episodes of TV shows that people talked about around the water cooler, so to speak, quote unquote? How did we go from producing 26 episodes every year, week after week, a Christmas episode, a Thanksgiving episode, a New Year's Eve episode? How did we go from that to companies spending hundreds of millions of dollars on 6 or 8 episodes, and then 3 years later getting the next season? What happened? What happened? 610, yo, Joe Daddy, lick that like button. No, it's not necessarily the Spidey talk was over. I kind of touched on Spider-Man earlier, and I kind of want to dig into the shared experience of water cooler talk about society, shared experiences. This is what I do think. This is what I do think, and I'm glad to see you here, man. And as Mother Slug says, I only belong to 3 streams, Pop, SNK, and it's Chad, the real ones. And for that, I appreciate it, Mother Slug. I really do. I do appreciate that. And I will tell you, I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm not going to go super hard in sometimes. And sometimes when things really spark me, I will. But as Todd C says, I don't like foreplay. I just like, well, I do like floor play, actually. But he just wants to get it done and out. No, actually, man. Well, anyway, that's a conversation for another day. But anyway, yeah, 610. Really want to touch upon, and what I think is going to happen, and maybe you guys will agree, maybe you won't. Maybe you totally see it from a different direction. If you have kids, I think there's going to be a cultural backlash. Oh my God. Not the mama. Not the mama. My mom and my sister loved that fucking show, Mother Slug. That's so funny. Oh my God, they love that show. That's hilarious. I think there's going to be a cultural backlash. I do firmly believe people want to go analog. And I think it starts with the younger generation that has been raised on this shit with a tablet in front of their face. And I firmly believe there is going to be a cultural backlash that wants to go analog. And I don't mean vinyl, okay? I don't mean vinyl. I mean go backwards a bit. Let's unplug, right? Let's look at this from a different perspective. I think you're going to have a lot of people coming up that are going to be the producers and the directors and the actors of the next generation, okay? They're too young right now. They're not your Zendayas out there who only get cast because she has 2 million Instagram followers and she has the same expression in every fucking movie and can't act worth a shit. Talking about people wanting to go analog. They want to go back. We've seen it crop up every now and then. Vinyl. Oh, vinyl outsold CDs for the first time since 1987. Younger generations wanting to collect physical media. They don't like streaming, right? They don't watch TV, right? I think there's going to be a cultural backlash against having your phone on all the time, against knowing someone's location all the time, And I firmly believe that, yes, and as Mother Slug says, history does repeat itself 100%. I think there's going to be a backlash against this hyper plugged in society that we live in now. And I've seen it, adults, us, 50-year-olds, we're the worst at it. We're the worst at it. I mean, how many people do you know, and do you yourself, scroll through Instagram for 2 straight hours? I watch YouTube 24 hours a fucking day. I go to bed with that shit playing. I ain't lying to you. I watch the shit in the shower. I got a way I can mount my tablet. Boom, right there. I'm taking a shower. I'm watching fucking YouTube videos. Like, it's goofy. You can make all the jokes you want about it. I know I have, right? About the kind of videos. But my point being is, yeah, I have YouTube 24/7. It's not healthy. It's not good. But it's adults. I see adult 50-year-olds, right? Nonstop. 75-year-olds, nonstop. Like, it's crazy. I believe younger people definitely will lead the charge in a cultural backlash against being constantly plugged in. I would love to see it. I would love to see a return to 26 episodes a season. How novel a concept would it be if a fucking studio decided, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put some people to work. We're going to put some actors to work. We're going to put some best boys and some grips, key grips, writers. We're going to do 26 damn episodes. Because you know what? You get 8 episodes a season, and then 3 years later, 8 more episodes for season 2, and most of the writing sucks asshole. When you had 26 episodes a season and most of your episodes were bangers, what's preventing a company from doing that again? That's a return to that. My point is leading to the shared experience of creating that. And that's what Spider-Man has done. The Odyssey, I didn't see it as much with the Odyssey. But Spider-Man, 100% have seen the shared experience. People filing into the theater day after day after day after day after day. Tickets hard to get a hold of. Unless you go early in the morning or you go late at night. I think it's a little bit easier now because most kids have started back to school for the fall, like this week, last week, whatever. But truthfully, I do believe there is going to be a studio or someone who bucks the fucking trend and goes old school on our asses. And what is Hollywood? What is pop culture? Just like the NFL, it's a copycat league. It's copycat. And if somebody does something that's successful, others will follow. They will absolutely follow. And if a company or two can get back to doing a 20-episode season of sitcom television of something that's good, another company will do it, and another company will do it, and another company will do it. And then it becomes the norm again. This streaming thing cannot last. It can't last unless we honestly are getting into the demolition man phase of things, where attention spans are so far gone that we start listening to old jingles from fucking businesses on the radio as our entertainment. If that's where we're going with this, right? Music has evolved into a TikTok world. I think there's going to be a backlash against that. I think you can only put out so many 1 minute and 44 second songs, 2-minute songs. I think there's going to be a thirst for art. I've often, well, I haven't said it on here. I've often said, however, that sometimes there are major events that have to bring things around to square one. Sometimes there are things that happen that have to reset the time time period, timeline, so to speak. I don't know what that looks like. But someone has to be bold enough, right? Bold enough. And Bobby, you may be right, with the union. But the numbers speak for themselves, and it's unsustainable. It is unsustainable to spend $15 million an episode, $10 million an episode, $28 million an episode, over 8 episodes, for something that brings no new subscribers. It's unsustainable. The old model was sustainable. And it's going to take some people to actually, with some brass fucking balls, to sit down and go, this ain't working. It is not working. Creatives have to take back over the creation. The tech bros have come in and taken over creation. They've taken over with apps. They've taken over in comics. They've taken over with TV and movies. They've taken over with video games. Like, there has to be a cultural revolution that brings these things back around to the things that matter the most. And yes, ideology has taken over media. Tribalism, 100%. But is it profitable for companies to feed into tribalism? Do you want to chase small fish? You have a lot of small fish. Or do you want to chase big fish? Do you want to cast into the ocean? Or do you want to cast into a pond and keep getting little nibbles? Or you can go for the marlin. Mother Slug says 50-50 with me. I make sure I get out to walk around. Staring at a monitor isn't healthy, so I make it a thing to get out. Critical. Absolutely. I get a lot of exercise at work, so I don't feel the need to go get more, but I do get a lot at work as I'm on my feet nonstop moving. But yes, if you do not have that type of job, it is critical. Even if you go take your phone, stick it in your back pocket, put a Bluetooth in, listen to a podcast, listen to a YouTube video with your phone closed, and you walk the neighborhood. Anything, something like that. Let's see. Attention spans are gone. Binge watching is the thing now. Yep, it's true. Actors don't want to get typecast anymore. Everybody's too afraid to offend someone. I think that's also going to disappear. I think we saw culture. I think we saw politics. I think we saw pop culture go through its phase of separation, of scared to offend people, not allowing someone to do a voiceover because they're not Asian, or they're not an Indian, or they're not fucking whatever. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I think we're going to see an end to that, if not already. The new issue is the socialist agenda. And I think that is different from what we're talking about. But again, pop culture is downstream from politics. So we'll see how this new Democratic Socialist Party kind of thing, what effect does that have? Green Giant. Exactly. Let's see here. It's not profitable. Just look at Supergirl. They live in a bubble and don't care. You can only care so much until eventually your company cannot make money. It's all about money. And eventually you lose enough money, you have to make changes, right? You have to survive. And Mother Slug says this could all go by really fast in 2 years. If a clown gets in office, heaven help us all. Yeah, hey, man, there's a lot that can go down. And I don't care really, like, honestly, I don't think it matters who you support. I think we have to obviously have a real conversation about, the public versus the not public, and where that's getting us, and where that we need to be in charge of saving ourselves as a society. We can't rely on politicians. We can't rely on, we have to be the ones who save ourselves. You can't sit around and wait on somebody else to do it. I don't give a fuck what party they work for. In all honesty. You know, it literally, it has to be us who take control. Or we can just sit around and let shit happen, which seems to be the easiest thing to do, but it's by far not the best thing to do. These clowns want to remove everything we love. Agreed, 100%. Talked about it many times. Toys gone, comics gone, movies gone. And yeah, we've been in it. We've been in it for a while. We're still in it. I think it would be foolhardy to think that after 2 years ago and the election that all of a sudden disappeared and changed. No. The tactics will change, but it is still there. And if anybody thinks it's hyperbolic, all you have to do is look at your favorite video game franchises and what's happened to them. All you have to do is look at your favorite properties, your favorite movies, your comics, your TV shows, your characters that you grew up loving. All you have to do is look at those things and fundamentally being changed or having been changed in front of your very eyes. Eric, I will say this, man, and I will say this right now. I made this joke. I don't give a shit. The WNBA, let a biological male come in there and dunk all over these bitches. Let a dude come in there and just fucking dominate. Absolutely crush the hopes and dreams of professional female basketball players for one season. And everyone will see just how ridiculous the argument is that biological men should be allowed to play in women's sports. You put it in people's faces. In a league like the WNBA, that nobody even gives a shit about anyway, but at least it would be the most notable. You let that shit happen. You let a guy who says he's a woman, and you let that dude come in the league, and you let that motherfucker average 50 points and fucking 16, 25 rebounds a fucking game and be dunking all over these hoes. I swear to God, they'll change their fucking mind real fast. Without a doubt. When you put that shit in people's faces, no, we're not talking about swimming. We're not talking about tennis. We're not talking about track and field. We're not talking about these other auxiliary sports that nobody gives a shit about. You put that shit front and center on national television, on the WNBA, which is subsidized by the NBA, and how much money they pay for that shit, and you watch some dude come in there and beat these up, people will see the light then. Trust me on that. You know that. And I'll be right here watching it. 100%. Good God, can you imagine how entertaining that shit would be? Woo! I mean, for real. Really quickly, I just want to summarize this. This is kind of what Gemini gave me. And I don't, I like to use AI a little bit, have some fun with some pictures and shit. But like, really quickly, shared living room. People don't share the living room anymore. Loss of collective appointment viewing. We went over that. Algorithmic hyper-personalization, which tribalizes everyone. Invisible neighborhoods. Nobody talks to their neighbors anymore. Nobody wants to get out of the car and have a 5-minute chat. You may, but overall, I'd say most of us would agree with that. The For You trap, recommendation engines on YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, Netflix feed users custom tailored content. Okay. Proliferation and the choice paradox, endless supply. How many movies come out on Netflix every week? Hundreds of sloppy bullshit that nobody's going to fucking watch. But by God, they got to fill it with content, right? Got to have content that no one will ever watch. Infinite choice fatigue. Agreed. There's too much. Too much shit. Way too much shit out there. Quality needs to be narrowed down. The best of the best. Period. That's the only shit that gets made. And then the worst of that shit gets canceled. Generational and subculture siloing, decentering the mainstream, right? Younger generations reject the very concept of a top-down mainstream dictated by corporate gatekeepers. I don't think corporate gatekeepers, but I think that there needs to be gatekeepers. Because we've seen these fucking fruitcakes come in and ruin the shit that we love. They turn all the fucking DC characters gay. Right? I mean, it's fucking look it up. They've swapped out gender and race swap characters, right? They no, you need gatekeepers. The new Halo game, they've gone in and they've replaced male soldiers with female soldiers. In the game, there's a whole section where like you could kill every male soldier on on the ship or in the area, but the females you can't. A couple you can. They literally coded in that you cannot, and they made it a choice to swap out the male soldiers for female soldiers, and then make it a point to make it so you can't hurt them, but you can hurt the male soldiers on your same team, by the way. Asynchronous lifetimes. Pop culture no longer moves in unified generational waves. Instead, decades of back catalog media are available at all times, letting a teenager today obsess over 1970s rock just as easily as current releases. Now, that's not such a bad thing. Biclops, exactly. Curious about GTA 6, and I'll leave you guys on this thought. I am curious about GTA 6. Am I going to be getting it? Yes, I am. Am I going to play the shit out of it? Yes, I will. I am curious to see the direction that Rockstar goes after all these years where they have traditionally had fun and made fun and had a good time at the expense of various groups, whether that's a certain way that people talk or walk or dress or act or whatever. I'll be curious to see if they continue in that direction or they try to go more serious and pull back in and pull some of those elements out of GTA 6. I will be curious. But I do like those games, and I will play it. The WNBA snake eating itself. Females fighting the culture war. I'd like them on the front lines with us on this shit. Unfortunately, the ones I tend to see are the ones that are my mom's age who are out there advocating for all the gayest shit you could ever think of. Shit is weird. Muslims taking over fucking cities and towns, and you see all these like 75-year-old white women out there saying the dumbest shit. Like, this shit is wacko, dude. I don't know what's wrong with people, man. Mother Slug says, I'm saying just play some male, not posing as a woman, just straight up 100% male. Well, the only way that you could get in is by a guy literally claiming to be a woman. That's the only way it would happen. Suing the league. You're not going to have a guy just straight up be like, yeah, I'm a dude, but I want to play again. No. It would be, yeah, I get it. We've seen high school teams beat WNBA players. But the only way it would happen in front of our faces on TV would literally be to, have someone who identifies as a female, which, it's mental illness, but what can you do? Mother Slug, 99% of those Adam Sandler's movies, which no hate to him, as he is one of the nicest actors around, but way, way too many Netflix films. Yeah, they're all the same, right? They're all the same. Todd C says, I don't agree with about 80% of what Pop says, and I love that, right? I'm here to show you don't have to agree with everything and still be friendly. Love that too, right? I mean, I have strong opinions, and I don't mind expressing them, and a lot of people that I see out in regular life feel the same way, or they'll talk the same way without me prompting them. I'm not, but I appreciate the fact that, like, there's still, like, I watch streams, I watch people that there's stuff that I don't necessarily agree about with them, but I like their content. I like what they do. They're on Blue Sky. I think that shit is stupid. Right? They're purposefully not on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. They're on Blue Sky, which is okay, whatever. It's amazing that, Amazon Web Services and the government shut down Parler, but somehow Blue Sky is able to exist. But hey, whatever about that, right? We'll just overlook that shit. But my point is that, yeah, there's a lot of people I watch that, like, their personal thoughts and stuff I don't necessarily agree with, but I do like what they do. 100%. Uh, and yeah, I get it, right? For a lot of people, GTA 6 is a pass. Of course, if you don't play games a lot either, right? And I'm not saying you don't, Mother Slug. I'm just saying a lot of people, they just don't play games anymore, right? Used to. Don't really play games anymore. Dearborn is fucked. Seriously. It's ma'am! Yeah, Dearborn, as a matter of fact, I emailed myself something, literally. It says... where's the title of it? It says Dearborn, Michigan is Muslim country. And it's, yeah, if you like Nate Friedman and you like Nate Friedman's videos, then you can take a look at Nate Friedman. And Todd sounds vaccinated. Hell, I don't know. Todd does say when you said you liked, yeah. So that's the thing, right? Like, I don't even know that I really like it. What's funny about it is my son's the one who was like, man, I think you'll like this. Because there's some anime that we share, like, that he likes, that I've watched, that I enjoy. But that one, like, I watched, I don't know, probably the first episode, I guess. It's like the theme of it and everything. I was just kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. And so he was like, yeah, you got to check this out. I don't think he sees that stuff, right? But also, he kind of tried to look a lot of it up, and he was like, I can't find the stuff, because I told him, I said, hey, man, you need to investigate, right? You need to look into it. I know you like that show. Look into Evangelion. And, and so he Googled and tried to look shit up, and he saw some of the Reddit stuff. He doesn't look at Reddit, but he saw some of those, like headlines and stuff. But he couldn't find exactly what he couldn't really find anything. But I credit him for looking. I do credit him for at least taking a look and just trying to see. So because I was telling him what you kind of told me. And I was like, yeah, man, I got somebody that was kind of, giving me the skinny on that stuff. And I wanted you to be aware. So, yeah, he was looking, trying to find stuff. Let's see here really quickly. I do want to end this thing on something I think y'all will appreciate and like. So let me share this with y'all. Let's see here really quickly before I get out of here. Today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the band, hey, band, let's bring it down a little bit. All right, there we go, band. Okay, I'm going to share this with you guys before I get out of here, and I think y'all will appreciate this. I know that I do. And enjoy, folks. As you know, my love for her has no bounds.
Ever. Siren box. Should we open it? It says tear me apart.
Tear
I
me
think I have
apart.
that one on. These are my favorite.
Me too.
And I saw Simba. This one also has a little bow tie because we mean business. And we have
Those
one
are
of my
your
favorite
boosters,
pieces.
Eric.
I love a good one piece teddy. The front closure, triangle bralette.
Mercy, child. Mercy.
And then a thumb.
Mercy,
All
child.
yours.
Good
You guys,
God.
this is very exciting. I have the first.
I mean, how can you not, ladies and gentlemen? How can you not? Don't play. Those are some unbelievable sweater puppies. Lungworts is what I call them. There's a couple lungworts there. I mean, what a fun gal. I mean, does she not seem genuine as fuck? Who would you rather go out with, her or Zendaya? Who seems like a fun gal? You tell me. I think we all know. Yeah, goodness gracious. I mean, it's not even fair. Holy shit. Oh, God. Whew, mercy. Anyway, all right. That's about all I got tonight. Love you guys sticking with me. I appreciate it. Hanging out tonight. I'm going to get out of here. And I don't know, man. I might play little drums. I might play a little Assassin's Creed Black Flag. There is a game out right now called Hell Is Us that you guys might find interesting if you play some video games. But I do have to watch House of the Dragon finale episode for this season, and then go in and watch the review stream on Nerdrotic's channel with Ryan Kennel and Shad the Conqueror. But anyway, so yeah, man. I like to go to the movies with Alanis. Interesting. Alanis Morissette. Well, all right, I get it. That's a good one. That's pretty good. Will, that's great. All right, look, I will catch you guys. I will see y'all Tuesday night with Matthew. We will be back. Maybe talk a little more Spider-Man. And go over the numbers, and then we do have a little bit of a lull until at least September into October, and then Doomsday at the end of the year. So we got a little ways to go, but I appreciate you guys hanging out, man, and thank you so much. Ghost of Tsushima, the first one, not the second one. Play the first one. You're going to love it, Todd. Promise you that. Anyway, all right. I am going to get out of here. Y'all have a great week. I forgot, Sunday night. Y'all have a great week, and I'll catch up with y'all Tuesday night on the Evening Blend with Matthew. Until then.
So long, gay boys!